Henry the Green Engine had steaming troubles. Some days he woke up raring to go. On other days, he felt utterly feeble. His crew tried everything to make him better, but to no avail. Henry usually pulled the first train in the morning. Thomas got the coaches to the platform and pushed from behind to help Henry start. Thomas would always whistle, "Good luck!" And no matter how little steam he had, Henry would always whistle back, "Thank you!" "He can't help feeling unwell," Thomas confided to Edward. "Sir Topham Hatt must know that. You don't think that he'd replace Henry, do you?" "Sir Topham Hatt always gives engines a fair chance," replied Edward. "Even so," he added gravely, "something must be done." Thomas gulped. Edward's reply wasn't exactly reassuring. One day, Thomas was shunting when he saw Sir Topham Hatt talking to the station master. He couldn't hear everything, as Gordon came clanking in with the express, but he did hear the words, "Henry," and "making arrangements." "Oh dear," sighed Thomas. "Sir Topham Hatt is replacing Henry." "Little Thomas," beckoned Gordon, "my coaches need shunting, thank you very much." As Thomas buffered up to Gordon's coaches, an idea struck him. "Yes, I'll do it tomorrow." The next day, Thomas took Henry's coaches to the platform, and pretty soon, Henry backed onto the train. The passengers started to board, and Thomas could hear Henry wheezing at the head of the train. "Don't worry, Henry," Thomas said quietly. "You'll be all right soon." Finally, the guard blew his whistle, and Henry started. Thomas followed along smoothly at first, but then, suddenly he jerked forwards, knocking his crew from his cab. By the time they picked themselves up, Thomas was already steaming away. "What do you think you're doing, you silly engine?" Thomas knew exactly what he was doing. He'd remembered Gordon's trick long ago of leaving before he could be uncoupled. This time, he wanted to follow along. "I'm helping Henry! I'm helping Henry!" he smirked. Cheeky engine, fussed the coaches. Henry was surprised at how easy it felt to pull his train. "That's good, come along, that's good, come along," he sang. But it wouldn't be good for long. They approached the first station, and Henry slowed down, but Thomas didn't. He was so pleased with his plan that he wasn't paying attention. "Stop! Stop! Stop!" shrieked the coaches. Without his driver, Thomas couldn't stop. Henry braked with all his might, and the train slowed to a crawl. But Thomas's wheels kept spinning. "Oh!" he winced, shutting his eyes. Suddenly, he felt his handbrake move, and his steam was shut off. He opened his eyes and saw that they had stopped right at the platform, with angry passengers swarming around a flustered Henry. "Phew!" sighed Thomas. His relief was short-lived, for stepping out of his cab was Sir Topham Hatt. I appreciate you helping the trains to start, Thomas, but this habit of gallivanting after them must stop. You've no business running down the main line, especially without your driver. I'm sorry, sir, sighed Thomas. I just didn't want you to send Henry away. He explained what he'd overheard. I'm afraid you've let yourself get carried away, Thomas. I'm not sending Henry away. I'm simply rearranging his timetable. If Edward takes the first train instead in the morning, it will give Henry more time to build up steam, which should help him greatly. Thomas had never been so relieved to be wrong. Now, back to the yards with you. I have disgruntled passengers to pacify. Oh, yes, sir, blushed Thomas, and he scampered off. That night, Henry backed down beside Thomas in the sheds. It was most kind of you to help me. Now that I have more time to build steam, maybe all my trains will be this easy to pull, even without you pushing from behind. Thomas smiled, thankful that Henry wasn't going anywhere.